Hello, welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video. I'm just out for an afternoon stroll today around the, possibly is this the Ashridge estate. I took the train to Tring rather than heading for Ivinghoe, still don't know how to pronounce that beacon. Thought for a change I would go look at some of the broader countryside in this neck of the woods. It's sort of, in a way, this is the first sort of serious area of countryside out of London, at least from my bit of London. It doesn't feel like a, you know, something hemmed in by houses on all sides. Don't really have much time, just a couple of hours, and but I do have things to make a very primitive lunch with me, just some pasta essentially. Haven't eaten yet. Weather looks nice, hopefully a pleasant stroll. This little path I'm following here is probably more of a deer track than anything used by humans. It's a bit overgrown overhead. I found a peaceful sort of a clearing where these little paths converge, but as I say, I think they're probably deer tracks rather than human paths. And, I'll just sit here and make my lunch. Enjoy this bit of peace and quiet here. Very basic lunch today, just sort of grabbed what I could find in the cupboard, and definitely not a nutritionally balanced meal. I've got some of this, some tagliatelle left over. I had lofty visions of doing some sort of porcini based sauce which would suit the autumnal setting I find myself in now, but my local greengrocers, which is usually a reliable place to buy dried mushrooms, didn't have any in stock on this particular occasion. Only shiitake Japanese mushrooms, which didn't feel like it would quite fit. It's going to be incredibly simple then. Some tagliatelle, I have a big slab of butter, and I have this, I forget the manufacturer of this. This is a block of a truffled cheese. It's a bit like a parmesan. I bought it in Italy, can't remember the specific name of the cheese, but you know, imagine it as a chunk of parmesan with black truffle, I think, sort of somehow integrated into it. Haven't tried it yet. Interesting to see how that's going to be. So it's just going to be sort of buttery, cheesy, truffly tagliatelle. Pretty straightforward. Put some water in the billy. Very approximate measure, 400 millilitres or so. I don't actually think I'm going to be able to fit all of that pasta in there, but never mind. I will adjust as I go. Do you want to see the magic moment when that gets ignited? Great, on that goes. While the water is coming to the boil, I can open up the wine. This is some Gevrey Chambertin, of course it is. I was at that, what was it called, Celtic Harmony place yesterday, doing a more of a sort of family day out type video, and I felt I had to apologise at the start because of the lack of me drinking Gevrey Chambertin in a hedge. I don't know if this can exactly be called a hedge, sort of part of a thicket maybe. It's near enough, and I do indeed have some Gevrey Chambertin with me. The colour is nice, sort of dark but kind of bright. That's a complete contradiction, isn't it? Slight sort of, I don't know, mushroomy kind of forest floor sort of funk. As I say, that could be environmental. Well, I like the look of that, just in the middle of the woods there. Billy can coming to a nice boil. I can see the lid starting to wobble a bit. We can call that a boil. Right, how much of this tagliatelle can we get in reasonably? 1 lump. 2 lumps. While that tagliatelle is boiling away, I did manage to squeeze the third nest, is that the right word? Bundle of tagliatelle in. I'm going to grate some of this truffly cheese. I should really have brought a grater rather than this funny sort of slicer mandolin thing, but never mind, that ship has sailed. I mean, it will probably disintegrate when I mix it in with the pasta. Can you actually see what I'm doing there? You get the idea, don't you? There is a lovely waft of truffle coming from that. Interested to see how that tastes. Truffle cheese. Mmm. That is pretty nice. I don't think this next step's really necessary, but it's probably more convenient to eat out of this the frying pan. So I'm going to stick that slab of butter in there. To melt it. Drain off the billy. Probably leave a little bit of that water in because it'll help to make some sort of sauce. It's perfectly drained. It's pretty buttery. And goes as much of that tagliatelle as I can get out. A little bit has inevitably stuck to the bottom, but who cares? Make sure it's properly coated. Don't lose any of that flavour. Now in goes that truffly cheese. Right, I'm going to declare that as done. Hungry down that way a bit more so you can see. It just looks like I'm eating plain pasta, doesn't it? But I assure you, there is at least some basic lip service paid to a sauce there. It's pretty nice. Simple. Difficult to eat with a spork, but I'll manage. Nice and rich. Sort of autumnal, I suppose. We're into, I guess this time of year is more white truffle season, isn't it, rather than black truffle season. And I think the whatever truffle component there was of that was more likely black. Earth balls on the ground near our meeting. We could just about scrub our eyes and pretend the floor is littered with white truffles. But I'm pleased with that. Very, very basic. Peasant cooking. minus the truffles. Actually goes quite nicely with this Harmon Gevrey Chambertin. It's still doing a bit of mushroomy funk. There's something slightly kind of green and vegetal in there. But yes, nice with my extremely plain pasta with truffles. That was a lovely spot. Rather wish I could just sort of sit and wait till it got dark, but alas, I have things to do back at home, so going to have to head on. Little pond near where I was sitting. I think that was actually marked on the OS map as well. Earth balls, maybe? I think that is a parasol mushroom. Quite a nice example of one as well. It's big. Sort of put my hand on top for reference. That's a pretty fair size specimen. And it has lots of friends nearby, but alas, a lot of them have been knocked over. Shaky camera work. Trying to look at the gills. Well, I'm afraid that might be it for this video. I'm walking across the fields back towards Tring station with the late afternoon sun on my head. weird feeling of raindrops, and yet the sky looks completely blue. I don't know quite what's going on there, but it's been a very pleasant afternoon. I'm not sure if there's really much of a video in that. Perhaps I didn't make for very exciting viewing, but I had a nice time anyway. Sat in the woods, having a walk, exploring the mushrooms, cooking some lunch, having some Gevrey Chambertin, albeit a bit green. And anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.